references. That's what this whole video is about, friends. Hello, my name is Jeremie Serrano, also known as La Comida de Jeremie online, and I'm here to feed you culture, spooky stuff, illustrations, art, food, and so much more. One of the most important tools that you can have as an artist is reference art books. So many to choose from. Children's books, young adult books, illustration books, illustration, movies, sketch books, how to draw books. And today I thought it would be really fun, before we head into the new year, to show you my art book collection that I use for references as an artist. There's very select few artists that can draw from just memory, but a lot of us actually need references to find poses, find ideas, find inspiration, and I'm one of those artists. And as an artist, you should not feel guilty for wanting to use references, so let this be a reminder of that. Anywho, I have a lot of books to go through, so let's go ahead and jump right into it. So here are a couple of the books I'm going to show you today. I'm really excited because as an artist, again, I think references are so important, also really helpful for inspiration. Found this book at an antique mall earlier this year over the summer. It is honestly one of my holy grail items. This is the illustrators of the Alice in Wonderland series. There has been lots of versions of illustrations and films and cartoons of Alice in Wonderland, and in here you will find so many of them. It goes over so many different illustration styles, art styles, which I'll really quickly show you. Here's just some illustrations, and so this has been my go-to book for when I'm trying to figure out how to draw eyes, poses, and also the reason why I really liked it is because it's very similar to my style and kind of like what I go for. So I really love an etchy, sketchy, like graphite pencil ink drawing type of illustration, and so in this book there's so much of that. If I'm not looking at poses or like eye features or hands and stuff, I'm also looking at how things are etched out and sketched out. That way I can kind of use those techniques in my art as well. This book was originally published in 1972, but this is the 1979 copy, and I'm really glad that I found it randomly. I try not to buy too many books online because I like to find them in stores, whether it's the thrift stores, antique stores, or even like at a bookstore. I think it's nice when they kind of find you. I will, however, show you some that I have purchased online, but for the most part I try to find them randomly because I think our best inspiration comes from random things in the world, which is potions and spells. If you follow me and you know about my artwork, then you know I am obsessed with Halloween, witchcraft, illustrations, and a bunch of my like portfolio is that. And so this was a book that I came across on Pinterest when I was looking for inspiration of like witch poses and just different witchy things. Kept seeing these illustrations, just like copies of it on Pinterest, and it was just like very similar to my style, and I just loved the colors and how just vibrant it was, but also very like monotone with just the black like etching and sketching with the white lines. And so it was just like really up my alley. This book was so hard to find, friends. They only sell a few of them. They're also quite expensive. This book is pretty old. There are actual spells in here, so that is why this is a very sentimental book to find if you can get your hands on it. I love this book. I want to say this is probably like the most expensive book in my collection. I don't remember the exact price I paid for this. I typically will not buy expensive books, but if they are something that I really want and a hard copy to find, I will try to grab it. Third and final kind of holy grail item. So these are like the top 3 books that I'm using right now for my current illustrations. I literally just added this to my collection, I believe last month. I posted a video about it on here on YouTube, I think, and also on TikTok, so make sure to check that out, of the unboxing. But I found this copy of The Incompetent Wizard, and this book is from, let me check real quick because I don't want to be wrong, 1965. So this book was illustrated by Janet McCaffrey, and the story is by Robert M. Oxner. And so the reason why I really loved it was because of the wizard. It's really hard to find like witchy illustrated books like in the style that I really love, which is very etchy, sketchy, like I've mentioned. But when it comes to like wizards or male witches, it's really hard to find that. So when I saw this book, I knew I had to grab it. And I just really loved the illustrations in here and how similar it was to my style. And I'm always trying to like, you know, grow as an artist. And something that I really want to do is draw a storybook, put like art books in the world that are literally just my illustrations and sell them on my site and stuff. So when I see these types of books, they're very inspiring. That's what this book is for me. Next up, we have comic books. So I love collecting vintage comic books. Something that I used to always say, by the way, was I want to be a cartoonist when I grew up. And cartoons were my go-to thing. I still draw very in a cartoonish style. Back then when I was younger and learned how to draw, I was really into like comic book style and cartoons from TV and stuff, and that's how I taught myself how to draw. One of those books and comic series that I loved so much growing up and still do, the Archie comic books, is one of my favorites. I love Betty and Veronica, I love Archie. I love going through the old comics, and like when I'm selling stuff on my website and want to like promote it, I will also draw out like things like this, like the old ads, how to submit like for giveaways and stuff. Like you don't have to just use it for like drawing your illustration. You can also use it, like I just mentioned, like for an ad. Like if you want to put a shirt that you're selling right here and like make it into a vintage ad, like this is great inspiration for that. I have some other ones as well, like the Flintstones. I found this at a garage sale, I think. It's just 2 Flintstone books. They're pretty old, so I try to keep them stored properly. I love these illustrations, like they just give me so much inspiration. Another one is Garfield, so I found this one at an estate sale, and it's just literal like comic strips and different stories of Garfield. Again, comic books are amazing. I found this one, it's a newer one, and this one is called The Witch Boy. It's a really awesome story. It's also LGBTQ+, which is really awesome. When I was growing up, we did not have comics like this, so this is really awesome to see for young adults and kids, but also adults like myself who kind of want to see those stories being told. I definitely want to do stuff like this, and this is why I grabbed these books, because they're so inspiring and just really give you a lot of idea. Depending what your niche is, I think it honestly relates a lot of times to how you grew up and the things that you were attracted to as a child. Some of those things are literally, for me, R.L. Stine and the Animorphs books. I actually went to go meet R.L. Stine back last year, I think, 2022, if I'm not mistaken. One of the best experiences ever in my life. I got one of R.L. Stine's newest book covers. It's from his Slappy World series. He has been releasing a couple books, so make sure you check them out because they are really awesome stories. This one is called Fright Night with 3 eyes. Really amazing illustrations. Speaking of R.L. Stine, this is not a illustration book, but it is a writing book. You might also like to write stories yourself or like start to create those stories, and so this book is literally that. Here you will find lots of tools and things written out by him. You will also find resources, and something that I really love this book for was the actual journaling parts. I wanted to add this in here so if you guys are like me and wanting to start writing like kids books or adult books and add your illustrations to them, but also want to write them yourself, I think this book is going to be a great tool for you to start using. And again, Animorphs does not have really illustrations within the book, but the book cover itself have always inspired me. The one thing that you will see on the inside that is illustrated though is the book like page counter, so you'll see that it tells like a little story and it changes into the actual animal. The Gilmore Girls. So this is a show that I am so fond of and I absolutely love, and something that I'm currently rewatching right now. When I heard that they were making the Gilmore Girls book, I had to get my pre-order in. I highly recommend getting books that are outside of your comfort zone. It can help you grow as an artist to see different art styles and different mediums and different ways of drawing. But a lot of newer books, I really love that they're doing this. So you have the kind of like book cover that stays on the book, but if you ever want to take it off, there's always like this little secret cover illustration artwork. It's just so fun. So this is definitely one of those things that I want to take away whenever I create a book. Cookbooks. So there are so many fun ways to draw food, and even though I'm an illustrator and artist, I'm also a recipe developer, and something that I have really wanted to do is start to draw more food, especially the recipes that I create. I want to, like, instead of photographing them, start illustrating them, and I think it's a really nice way to connect with your audience. Divine Your Dinner, and it's basically the tarot deck but with illustrations that also have recipes, and so it's just really fun. So this one is the Eight of Swords Chicken Tagine, and you have the illustrated recipe right here, illustrations of like different magical things that have to do with like the tarot decks. I just thought this was really fun and something that I would really be obsessed with and want to do, but I have never thought to do this. The other one that I found is a cookbook, like comic book style, literally a bunch of dumpling recipes, but in cookbook style. Children books are one of my other favorite things that I love to collect, and I love to collect these because though they are made for children, they are created by adults. Definitely visit like a bookstore and look at the children's books because you're going to be so inspired by what you see. So here I have some older ones that I collected actually this summer. Winnie Pooh's Halloween Parade, and I love this one. I used to watch the Winnie the Pooh show when I was growing up, and so this is just really fun to see in a book. Halloween and autumn is your favorite season and time of year, then you definitely wish that you were this old little witch lady. So this is the little old lady who was not afraid of anything, and it's a very witchy Halloween book, but really she's just like an old tiny lady that lives in like the woods in this little cottage. This book was made in 1986 and it was illustrated by Megan Lloyd, and I absolutely love her art style because it is very cartoony, but it's also very like whimsical and witchy and like kind of spooky. I think my artwork style and like vibe kind of matches a lot of what she does. And so my mom got this for me and I was just like, oh my god, that was a book that I really wanted in my collection. But if you are like me and love witchy Halloween books, definitely look up Halloween kids books because you're gonna find some really awesome options. This is the Clifford's Halloween book, and it is pretty old. It is missing like a few pages towards the back, and it's definitely missing the back cover, but nonetheless, I'm glad that I found it, and it was only $3, friends. So it is pretty worn out again. It was 85 cents originally, which is wild. Basically just Clifford going through Halloween and wearing different costumes and stuff, and it's just super adorable and I love it so much. Typically would see so much color and vibrancy in kids books, but this one, just like very early on comics and art styles, they were just black lines with not too much design, and so that's what I love about this so much, because that is literally how I learned how to draw. Coloring books are an amazing resource. One, they are literal just like line work, and you can pull so much inspiration from that. Also, they come with like 20 pages, even more, of coloring pages, so there's so many illustrations that it can inspire you. This one I actually got over the summer. This is from a like free library. I also really love the people that host free libraries, just like out on the street, for people to continue to read and get books for free, leave books as well. So I really love to do the whole trading thing. This one is the My Very Best Coloring and Activity book. This one is actually from 1994, so it's literally 29 years old, almost 30 like me. Loved it for the illustration style, again, because it's a little bit older, and there was just so many different things to choose from. I love coloring books. I don't really like color them, but I do just love to collect them for, again, references. That's what this whole video is about, friends. Pulling from cultures is one of my favorite things to do, especially cultures that I'm a part of. I grew up in the East Coast between Connecticut and New York City, but also in Florida, and now I live in Memphis. So there's so many cultures in every single one of those cities and states that I've lived in. But then also, I am from Puerto Rico and was born there. My family's from there. And so we're an extremely Latino, Hispanic, Boricua familia. And so I pull from all these cultures and stuff. And I love books like that. So this one is the American folk art book, and I also have another one that has to do with like Black American like history, African American history, and I don't have that one with me right now. But this one is very similar to that book, except that it has to do with more like Victorian age, or like very like folk arty American style. And so you'll find like, you know, colonizers and stuff. It's from like the Victorian era to like many other ages. I really love just the different styles and like techniques. I spoke about this a little bit earlier, but pulling from your favorite series and things that you loved growing up or now. I know a lot of us love like anime and stuff, and one of the things that I fell in love with during the pandemic was Studio Ghibli films. The day that I started to like create my art career again as an adult was the day that I watched Kiki's Delivery Service with my boyfriend for the first time that he had never seen it before, and I wanted to start drawing again, so I picked up a pencil and paper and I was like, let me see if I can still draw, and I drew Kiki, friends. I was amazed, and I was like, whoa, I did not know that I had these art skills still, because it had been years since I had like really drawn. That is kind of like what started my art career as an illustrator. That I love to get from Miyazaki and the Ghibli like production company is the art of books. If you love Ghibli films or just really want to see the art process of these artists that create these films, so like if you're into animation or you want to start drawing like series of things, or if you just want to document how you illustrate and create throughout the years, this book is literally that, friend. The last books that I love to collect for references are definitely books by other artists, especially current ones. The book that I currently have is Nina Cosford and Fran. So I feel like everyone knows Fran. She's an amazing artist. So this is her sketchbook that she does. It's called The Ugly Sketchbook. And so basically she like draws for like a year or over like the series of a couple months. This is literally just pages and pages and pages of her sketchbook and things that she draws. And so there's so much to pull from. Again, I just love the etchy, sketchy drawing style with the pen that she uses. And so this is an artist that I definitely get a lot of like energy and inspiration from. And Nina Cosford is also another illustrator that I love so much. She actually made sketchbooks that I'm absolutely obsessed with. It's one of my favorite sketchbooks that I use. So something that she did was actually take the Trans-Siberian Railway, and she drew like the whole trip. So she did like the whole map and like where she went. So she also drew like people that she saw, outfits that she saw, the cabin. So this is really awesome and a really cool idea. Like it really shows you like you can make books out of anything. You can make illustrations out of anything. Really awesome to collect from your favorite artists online or that you follow on social media. That way you can support small business, support other artists, also get inspiration from the people that are already inspiring you online. All right, friends, we have absolutely lost daylight because it is daylight savings times and it's 4:34 and it's already like getting dark. So we are gone with the natural light. I hope you enjoyed this video and that you pull some inspiration from it. I will try to list some of the books down below so you guys can check them out, or you know, take a little screenshot. There's so many books out there, and if you are an artist of any kind, there's so much inspiration that you can grab out there. This is your reminder again to grab some reference books. You need them. You need them, friends, and you are absolutely going to grow as an artist, and I'm excited to see that journey for you. As for me, I'm going to go grab some of these books, go sit on my couch, watch a cozy movie, and open up my sketchbook and draw because I'm inspired. I hope that this inspired you as well. If you're new here, don't forget to join the familia. I mean, if you want to. You don't have to subscribe, but if you want to, it would help me out. But if not, that's okay. I hope you enjoyed this little visit into my little corner of the internet. I will see you all very soon. Take care and keep on being great. The difficulties of taking a thumbnail.